Hello again, rail fans. I got a lot of response after the video about locomotive bells. I learned way more about bells after I posted the video than I ever knew before. Let me just read you a couple of the emails that I got. Rich S. writes, regarding where the bells are placed, Norfolk Southern still has some engines set up to run long hood forward. On those engines, the bell is centered and mounted high on the long hood. So that answers where they're done in that case. Jack Shiflett writes, as an avid Amtrak fan, the bells on P-42s are mounted on the engineer's side a few inches behind the plow. That's why I couldn't see them when I was out there looking around for them, and I think they're the same way on the ALC 42s. I think they're down underneath the front hood there somewhere. But anyway, thank you everyone for all of those facts and so many things that I never knew before, and I learned an awful lot from you guys. Now in this episode today, we're going to take a little day trip over to the old Atlantic coastline, Maine, north of Orlando, up to the St. Johns River. This is a stretch where Amtrak trains really open it up, as there are some decent segments with few crossings. That's a beautiful day out there, so let's go. After making the treacherous drive on I-4 to the State Road 429 Expressway, I made my way up here to State Road 44, eastbound to DeLand and the A-Line. Today's outing will follow the CSX A-Line, ex-Atlantic Coastline track coming out of Orlando and heading north through DeLand, Barberville, Seaville, Satsuma, and Palatka as it leads toward Jacksonville. Going northward, DeLand is where the Central Florida Rail Corridor ends ownership of the A-Line. It's CSX from there up to Richmond, Virginia. The radio was busy with Sunrail chatter, so I knew I was close to the track.
Dispatch 53, over. Yes, sir, you'll see 310 at the drawbridge around 9:15, and then we'll go straight in, over.
Amtrak 53, the southbound auto train, was also in the picture. Unfortunately, 53 was now south of me and would be at Sanford in 15 minutes. We won't see 53 on this trip. We do have the chance to catch the northbound auto train this afternoon, though. We'll see how that works out. As I got north of DeLand, I switched the radio to the CSX A-Line road channel, AAR 32, and something was crackling out there. When I got caught by a red light at State Road 40, this caught my attention, the Barberville Yard Art Emporium. You see things like this in folks' yards, but you never think about where they get it. Well, this is where they get it. A life-size zebra, a life-size tiger. The rooster is a little bigger than life-size, I hope, as is the bald eagle. If you like big yard decorations, this is your place. You can shop here for hours and still not see it all. At the corner of Railroad Avenue and State Road 40 in Barberville. Hey, wait, now speaking of railroad, let's check the track again out there. That radio isn't crackling anymore. It's clear as a bell. Something's knocking at the door.
91180 southbound Emporia Road, clear.
Amtrak 41 is coming at us, and he's close. The southward signal is green at North End Barberville siding. You'll hear the engineer call it 91 because CSX still has it symboled that way, but it's now train 41, the Amtrak Floridian.
91180 southbound, clear, North End, Barberville, I mean. Clear enough.
I don't know how fast he was going, but the Amtrak Floridian was on that crossing for just 9 seconds. If US 301 is the companion road to the Florida S-Line, US 17 is the companion to the A-Line, at least in North Florida up to St. John's in Jacksonville. That's the road we'll be on all day today. Moving northward on 17, I make a quick stop up the road in Seaville for ice and some breakfast. Out here, this is what breakfast had to be today. A beefy, cheesy nacho tornado, 2 Grandma's chocolate chip cookies, and my own coffee I brought from home. Not wonderful, but at $4.50, way cheaper than drive-through food and just about as good. Back out on the road and still in territory where caution lights are good enough to regulate traffic, at least for now. Pushing northward, I went through Pearson, Crescent City, and Pomona Park when I again started hearing something on the radio. It sounded like Amtrak, so it would probably be 97, the southbound Silver Meteor, coming into his Palatka station stop, which would only take a few minutes. I knew I had to get someplace by the track quick. A U-turn, then a right turn onto Buffalo Bluffs Road. And in about 3 miles, there it was, the A-Line, crossing here at a severe angle. The warning signals were mounted on 1970s-era cantilevers.
FPO 97 clear, 7015.
And the milepost marker was something I had never seen on the Atlantic coastline before. No three-sided concrete pylon here. It was a regular highway signpost.
FPO 97 clear, Buffalo Bluff, South Mano.
Amtrak 97 was crossing the St. Johns now. When it got up to me, he was just getting back up to speed from the 45-mile-an-hour speed limit over the bridge. After Amtrak 97, I got back out on US 17 and continued northward. Just a few miles ahead, I crossed the Big St. Johns River, the largest river in Florida. The St. Johns at one time was busy with ship traffic, freighters, and passenger steamers. It's what created the cities of Jacksonville, Palatka, and Sanford. The St. Johns is also unique, or at least unusual, in that it flows south to north. With 97 bias, there would be no more passenger trains for a while, so I skipped the downtown depot and went north of town to CSX's Pecan Yard. Now, folks here pronounce it pecan. Everyone in my family always said pecan. My dad used to say a pecan is something you take with you on a long road trip so you don't have to stop. The Palatka local L711 was working outside the yard at a mainline customer, Veritas Steel. This fabricator produces giant steel beams and plates for heavy construction. They also have a large dock on the river, though I don't know if that's still used. CSX brings them sheet steel on flat cars. Breaking out of the Pecan Yard lead is the Georgia Pacific Spur. It swings westward and crosses US 17 to serve the Georgia Pacific Paper Mill. This big plant produces consumer tissue products such as Angel Soft, Quilted Northern, Brawny, and Sparkle. GP just announced an $83 million expansion of the facility. It's great to hear that big industry is still alive and well in Florida. Being unfamiliar with this territory, I was getting guidance over the phone from my friend Gordon Deason, ex-CSX dispatcher. It was getting to be noontime and my roller grill breakfast had expired. I suggested to Gordon we meet in Melrose for lunch, so he and his wife Adrian drove out there to meet me. I wanted to check out a fried chicken recommendation I got at Rail Watch from Scott, a friend of the channel. In all my days, I've never traveled Florida State Road 100. It's a beautiful ride. This was the route to the crossroads town of Melrose. When I got there, I found Friers Chicken and Gordon waiting at the door. It's a tiny place and a busy one. The whole menu is right on the wall, right next to where you order. They even have their own merch for sale here. I got a jumbo iced tea, 2-piece fried chicken combo with mashed potatoes and gravy, and coleslaw, the creamy kind. All of it was delicious, and $14.42 out the door. After that, I said farewell to the Deasons and headed straight back to Palatka. If I timed it right, I could catch 2 of the 3 afternoon Amtraks coming north. First up would be 98, the northbound Silver Meteor out of Miami for New York, so I'd wait him out at the Palatka Amtrak station. The Palatka station was built by the ACL in the early 1900s, but also hosted trains from the GS&F out of Valdosta, Georgia, and from the FEC on a line leading west out of Moultrie Junction near St. Augustine. The building even had a second operator's bay window facing the intersecting lines. Looking eastward, you can see where that old track was. The depot today houses the David Browning Railroad Museum, including a layout once billed as the world's largest mobile HO scale model railroad. On the grounds, there's an SCL-era caboose that's stuffed and mounted, and in a little bit of disrepair. At 16:31, Amtrak 98 appears from the south, easing into Palatka with a Siemens ALC 42 Charger in the lead. Looks like about 10 or 12 passengers will board, but they have to wait until the arrivals get off. Both the Siemens Charger and the old GE P42DC remain throttled up during the stop. Those engines are generating power for the train's lights, air conditioning, and anything else that needs electric.
Clear coaches, June.
Assistant Conductor Jacob Breedlove advises he's got the coach passengers aboard, and Conductor John Lord calls for the move forward to load sleeper passengers.
98, Southwest Crew, ticket hit 3 cars over. 3 cars over.
The Palatka platform is not long enough to handle both at once.
We got Mr. Harmon out here today. If he's by the tracks on the way forward, it's probably Danny.
AC Jacob Breedlove is apparently a subscriber to the channel. That is pretty cool. 3 more minutes and everyone's aboard, and the Silver Meteor is ready to go north. It's getting on to 1700 now, so I'm headed south for home. I still have not seen Auto Train yet, but I know he's out there somewhere. I decide to make my stand at Satsuma, first siding south of Palatka, about 11 miles. It's a little back from the highway, so I won't get as much traffic noise, and it's on a nice curve. And the speed limit is 70 miles an hour. 20 minutes or so, and 52 begins to break the squelch on the radio. In less than a minute, the radio signal is crystal clear.
52 clear, distance, Satsuma Meteor.
Amtrak 52 ain't letting those rails get rusty this evening.
1.9, no defect. Total axle 212. Detector out.
No defect, 50.
Thank you, no defect, good job.
When you start hearing the conductor's walkie-talkie, you know the train is inside spitting distance. And in just a couple of more seconds, hang on to your hat.
Hill 52 clear, south in Satsuma.
Clear south and it's Satsuma 612.
I really love this part of Florida for rail fanning because it's not choked with 8-lane highways and intersections that have 3 left turn lanes going in all directions. There's still a lot of farms and woods and nice little communities where a flashing caution light is all the traffic control you need. Like and subscribe if you like this video, and share it with your friends if you would. That really helps get the word around. Write your comments in the comment section down below. I read them all and reply to as many as I can. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I post a new video, and let's make plans to do this again sometime soon, somewhere out there on the high iron. And between now and then, this is Danny Harmon, out.